Hi there. Welcome to my car and also my channel. I'm going to start off with the reason I'm in my car is I don't have the privilege of feeling emotionally safe in my home. I'm not at all comfortable with the thought of my parents hearing me talk, but I have wanted to have a YouTube channel for a while, for a long time, and I've made videos. I think I've made videos before and then never edited them, much like the last video I made, which I started editing and I did not finish. So anyway, I am determined to have a YouTube channel, and if that means recording in my car on my phone, that's just what's gonna happen. I am particularly interested in internet drama, if you will. So I'm gonna start off my little channel here with reacting to this video that James Charles posted 3 days ago now. I'm kind of late. Probably by the time I edit this and upload it, it'll be like a week ago, but that's me. It's titled An Open Conversation. So I've watched Ready to Glare's video on this. I'm not a fan of this video, but I am a fan of people getting to learn from their mistakes. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not quite sure. I didn't finish Ready to Glare's video because I was like, I want to make a video on this and I don't want to be too biased. But we'll just see what happens. We'll just see where it goes. I think I'm going to speed it up just a little bit because I really don't... it's a 30-minute long video. I don't know about all that. I'm putting it in 1.25. And that's probably what it's going to be in editing so that it's easier to edit. Okay, I'm just letting his little intro play.
As you know, over the past couple of months, I have been offline after I posted.
He just said he's been offline, which I don't think is true. I've heard a lot about him. Not a lot, but he's been online.
Months ago, I want to clarify some things that didn't happen a couple of months ago and everything that happened after I posted my video, but more importantly, talk a lot about the realizations that I've come to behind the scenes, the conversations that I've been having with myself, my friends, my family, peers, business colleagues, and professionals to really come to terms with a lot of different issues that I have been ignoring for quite a while now. And once again, just talk a lot about the growth and hopefully be able to not move on from the situation, because I don't think that that's the appropriate language to use, but
I don't like how he's talking about being exposed for predatory behavior as a situation.
When I posted my last video, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I got was that it felt really, really ingenuine and scripted. And that really, really sucks because that video was not scripted, but I am really bad at just sitting down in front of a camera and talking. So by the time that I, got the sentence out that I was imagining in my head after 8 different tries, it almost did become a script.
Okay, so that's fair. I mean, objectively, yeah. I'm sure he was very nervous to make that video, and I'm sure he practiced what he was going to say a million times, whether or not it was scripted. That makes sense. I don't know. So I think it's interesting just knowing what I remember he says in this video, that he is that last video was a miss, it was bad.
Agree that last video was definitely not a great one. It was a miss.
When in that video, he actually acknowledges that there were victims, and I think that he does more of an apology. He literally admitted to everything in that video, which is why this video is confusing to me. So I think it's interesting that in that video that he missed, I'm sorry about my steering wheel, by the way. I can't move it, and I have a mount for my phone, and I couldn't move that either. Anyway, so he refers to this video as a miss, where he acknowledges the victims in the slightest, and then in this video he goes on to say that there were never victims. So it's a little confusing, in my opinion.
And that really sucks because that video was super important. It was obviously really embarrassing to talk about that in front of the entire world, but...
The embarrassing. He says, this is embarrassing so many fucking times. He said it in the last video too. It's very telling, in my opinion, for him to be like, this is really embarrassing that I have to keep addressing this. It's embarrassing that you have to keep addressing it. It's embarrassing for you because you're getting in trouble publicly. It's embarrassing for you because it's hurting your business. It's embarrassing for you because people think badly of you now. Not like, I feel so awful that I could have put anyone in a position where they felt uncomfortable. I feel so regretful and remorseful, and I am so sorry to the people that I made to feel that way. Would be the bare fucking minimum. He is just like, this is so embarrassing that I have to keep addressing this. I'm so sorry to everyone, like, who knows me, because, like, this is literally embarrassing. Like, please stay friends with me, though. Like, please don't drop me, but, like, I just know, like, I'm embarrassed. Like, I don't know. It rubs me weird.
I do recognize that a chit chat, get ready with me, might not feel like the most appropriate format for a serious conversation. I hear you 1,000,000%. For me, makeup is like my art form. It's my therapy. It helps me calm down and reduce my anxiety. So my goal is to hopefully be able to create a beautiful look by the end of this video while also having a really serious conversation with you guys that I think is important, so my brain won't be too distracted and running 1,000,000 miles an hour and tripping me up over my words.
So this was interesting to me. I'm in cosmetology school right now, and one of the main things that I want to do is I want to be a makeup artist. So makeup is also my passion, right, James? Right, sister? I feel you on that. I do feel like it's a little strange. My only other reference for this is Ready to Glare's video, where she said that she understood and that if it, helps calm you down, whatever. But when I heard him say that, I kind of like what? I can't explain why it makes me feel like he addresses that it's inappropriate. He knows it's weird that he's doing a get ready with me when addressing being a predator, allegedly. I don't know. I'm trying not to be biased, but I am.
I posted my Holding Myself Accountable video, and in that video talked about how basically 2 guys had come forward with stories on social media about how I had inappropriate contact with them when they were under the age of 18.
So he says 2 boys had come forward on social media. I believe it was over a dozen people came forward. Now, I am not sure of all of those people's stories being truthful. Of course, I wouldn't want to doubt that, but my point is, I remember seeing a lot of proof that the accusations were true and not a lot of proof that they weren't true. So I will just say that.
Now, when this was all going on, my first reaction was to be super upset because I did mention in that video that they had lied to me about their age and that I absolutely did not groom them.
So I think it's interesting. Zoe Laverne said the same thing. I think it's interesting when people are like, I did not groom them. What do you think grooming is? Like, do you think that it's like just one action? The act of grooming can be influenced by a number of things. You can literally just being a celebrity, you've already, by definition, grooming is when someone builds a relationship, trust, and emotional connection with someone so they can manipulate, exploit, and or abuse them. So, that being said, James Charles having an influence, especially the kind of parasocial relationship that he was able to develop with his subscribers and with the people that followed him. Hey sisters, so friendly, like, we're sisters, we're so close, we're best friends. I would say that builds some sort of relationship. That builds a parasocial relationship. Someone being a celebrity puts them on a higher pedestal. It puts them in a position where people trust them, where people feel like they know them, regardless of how into their content you are. When you see that somebody has 25 million subscribers, which is what James Charles is at as of filming this, automatically they are going to have a level of trust, whether that be because they want to, because you're famous. Holy cow, you're famous. This is a famous person I'm talking to. That influences things, right? So when celebrities say things, or influencers say things like, I didn't groom them, it makes me laugh a little bit because it doesn't make any sense. You don't just, I've groomed you, which in the case of, this is it really is a complicated topic, because if this, let's say, if this wasn't an influencer and a fan, let's say we're in high school and the most popular guy in school goes up to not a very popular person or somebody that they know would be vulnerable to their influence as a more popular person. They go up to this less popular person, more vulnerable person, and ask them out. What is the likelihood that the less popular person is going to say no? It's not very high. Of course, there are people who would be like, no, because I'm not interested in you, which is great. Good on you. But the majority of people, when somebody has a level of influence, a level of social power, when somebody is higher up in the social chain, that influences the way that they interact with you. Which I find honestly really silly that David Dobrik even and James Charles in his Miss video were like, oh, I didn't realize that was a thing. I find that really hard to believe. I find it extremely hard to believe that you didn't realize that being a celebrity puts you in a higher, like, authority. Like, it's the same thing with, this is just power imbalances, power dynamics. I'm sorry, I'm talking for too long, but if somebody is held to a higher standard, a higher social regard than somebody else, the people lower down are going to typically be more influenced by the higher up people. This is just how humans work. So I just find it silly that that's even an excuse. Like, I didn't know. I don't even remember how I got there, but we'll keep going with the video. I'm 4 minutes in.
My first reaction was to post a no more lie style video, debunking everything and fighting back and everything. And then I really had to sit down and reflect and look back at myself and my actions and things that had happened. And I really realized that at the end of the day, as the adult and the person with the platform, it was 1000% my responsibility to be doing my due diligence and checking into the people that I was speaking to. And I failed to do that. And that really, really sucks. And that's why I uploaded that video, because I felt as though it was really important for me to hold myself accountable, give people an explanation as to what went down, and most importantly, apologize to the people that were actually affected by my actions.
So I will say, James Charles is 22 something. Going from being a teenager to being an adult is a difficult transition for some people. Sometimes, especially I will just use James Charles as our example here because that is who I'm talking about. James Charles made the transition from teenagehood to adulthood in the spotlight as an influencer. There's a bird. This breeds a level of entitlement that allows and enables people to not have to make that transition, or not have to recognize that transition as much as, say, working class people do. For example, normal people graduate high school sometimes, and then now I have to go to college, or I have to find a job, I have to move out, I have to, it's things that, like, wow, I'm an adult now. Like, I have to deal with these things. And that's kind of a realization that hits you during the age frame that James Charles has been famous. However, in James Charles's case, it would be more like, oh my God, I have all this money and I can move out and I can have all these things that I want and I can do whatever I want and I'm friends with all these famous people and all these people love me. That doesn't seem like a healthy environment to breed a good and well-developed transition from teenagehood to adulthood, which is where we see things like massive entitlement, because typically during this time, people have to work for the things that they get. They have to get their job, and they have to work during school, and they have to, you know, work overtime and this shit. So they work for it, and they get it, and they feel like they've earned it. James Charles, in the case of people gaining influence during this time, that can not happen. It's very plausible that James Charles already had a sense of entitlement, and becoming famous just amplified it, which I probably will get to a little bit later, more on that. I think that has a lot to do with the situation. So I will keep going. Hopefully I concluded that thought. I don't know.
A lot of people I felt like this is just another James Charles scandal that I could easily move on from like nothing ever happened. And I really feel as though it's important for me to just address right away that is absolutely not the case in any way, shape, or form, and that could not be further from the truth. First of all, I feel like calling this a scandal in the first place is just not an appropriate word to be using with this situation. There's no denying that I've been in my fair share of scandals online, but using that word with this situation just feels really, really wrong.
Yeah, no, you committed a crime. Like, you committed several crimes. Like, these are crimes, James. Yeah, scandal is, like Ready to Glare said, again, I only have one point of reference for this. Probably shouldn't have watched her video, honestly. But, in the more traditional sense, yeah, a scandal, meaning morally wrong or legally wrong, but
I did recognize that I needed to make changes, and I uploaded a video making a lot of promises to my audience and to the public that I was going to work on myself behind the scenes, and I did. I spent 2 years, changing my behavior, changing the way that I went about dating and flirting with guys. I worked on rebuilding my brand and my social media presence.
How was he going about getting with guys before, if this is his improved version?
With this video, or really any video moving forward, allowing anybody, let alone my followers, to think that there are any victims of James Charles, let alone 20 victims of James Charles, because that is completely, unequivocally not true.
There, he said it. There are no victims of James Charles. Even in the last video, he said that there were victims. Like, he called them victims. Okay, sis. Damn, I've like lost the energy to mask. Like, I can't keep making this video. I'm so upset. Hello, I am back. It has been almost a month since he posted this video, and about 3 weeks since I started mine. But I digress. Is that the correct word to use in that context? I'm not sure. Alright. Let's get back.
You can't be a victim of something that did not happen. And with all these people making completely fake conversations and screenshots and posting videos of a 5-minute conversation just to get attention and clout and likes and go viral on social media to add to this crazy narrative, all it does is discredit and disrespect the people that were actually affected in the first place, and it waters down the severity of the issue and the situation going on, but it also discourages people from being able to come forward in the future, because when it's so easy to Photoshop and edit these conversations from beginning to end, nobody's gonna know what to believe, and that is a really, really dangerous situation.
Okay. James, what you are saying is, it feels incredibly manipulative. You are saying that the people coming forward with fake screenshots are watering down. Oh my god. See, I tried. My response to this is so fucking hard to word, because this is just so wrong. Like, I can't even explain how this sentence, like this, what he's saying here is so ridiculous. I can't even, like, I have to rewatch it again. I'm like baffled. So he said it discredits and disrespects the people that were actually affected. So you mean the people that were actually victims of you? That's what you're saying there. The fake stories are watering down the actual victims of you. That's what that means, to me at least. He's like, guys, I just want to make sure that people are able to accuse me of being predatory again in the future. Like, you guys made up so many fake stories that now my victims won't actually be able to be heard. Like, that's what I'm hearing right now. And I'm fucking literally like, James, what? I can't even, like, I feel like I'm losing fucking brain cells just from this section of his fucking video. Like, this... Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if I don't know how I'm supposed to adequately express the wrongness of what he just said and how fucked this whole situation is. He's saying all these screenshots are watering down the actual victims of me. Like, that's what I'm hearing. That's what he's saying. And I can't believe it. And I don't know, I'm just gonna have to move on because I can't. Like, what does that even...
Okay, cool, James. You said this before, so where's your receipts and your screenshots to back it up? And that's totally valid, but I'm gonna let you guys know right now that I'm not gonna be...
No, James. Nobody's gonna fucking ask you for receipts and screenshots. Like, I know that he's about to say some bullshit, like, it doesn't matter because what I did was wrong still. Like... Yo! Seriously, James, you're a... So much of this is gonna have to be edited. Like, I'm like, I can't move past this. Like, I got stuck on this before. I tried to record this before and my laptop died and I couldn't move past this because this is just fucking ridiculous. Nobody cares about your screenshots or proof or whatever. Like, they were proven true. At least 2 of them were proven to have happened.
In today's video. And I could sit here and say that that is because I'm trying to be the bigger person and grow and not get involved in tea or drama anymore, and that would be true, but the real reason why I'm not including screenshots in today's video is because I don't have them. I know that I kind of became like known for that after No More Lies, but that was such a different situation where I had months and months worth of texts and DMs that I could super easily pull together a timeline and prove my innocence, whereas in these situations, for the ones that were real at least...
What screenshots? What fucking screenshots are going to prove that you didn't have sexually charged conversations with minors? What could possibly prove that, like... Because his whole defense was like, oh, well, I didn't know. I didn't know that they were underage. I can't. I feel like I'm not making sense anymore because there's no logical response to anything that he's saying. He will bring up No More Lies every fucking chance he gets to remind you that he has got himself out of this once before. To remind you, oh, do you remember that one time where I was able to prove everything and I was able to redeem myself? I can't do that now, but do you remember I could before? Like, it feels like it's manipulative. Like, I've seen other people bring this up, that he continues to bring up the No More Lies video to remind people that, oh, if he wanted to, he could redeem himself. Like, I don't know. James will use every chance he can get to remind you that he once has redeemed himself from a situation like this before. To put this little seed in your brain that because of the No More Lies, because of the whole Bi-Sister scandal, and how that was proven false and whatever, even though I have my opinions about that, Tati, I have my opinions about that. That's not this situation. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't think that he vindicated himself in the No More Lies video. I think that he was able to... See, I don't know how to word this. The allegations against him were more than he proved wrong. A lot of the things that Tati was saying was that he was using his power as a celebrity to influence people, and goddamn, I could go on a whole rant about that entire situation, but I personally don't think that he 100% redeemed himself from that situation. I think that in the public eye, to the majority of people who didn't actually know the entirety of the situation, he was redeemed. And I even was willing to, like, you know, he's young and dumb, so we'll see him grow, but at this point, with the amount of fucking allegations, like, year after year, I swear, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. This is my problem. I talk and then I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. I'm just gonna play the video.
That was such a different situation where I had months and months worth of texts and DMs that I could super easily pull together a timeline and prove my innocence. Whereas in these situations, for the ones that were real at least, these interactions lasted for 5 minutes, an hour, a few days at maximum, and I just wasn't sitting there taking photos of everything that was being said.
So here's the thing. These conversations lasted... Okay, why is my lighting like that now? I'm so mad. What the fuck? Okay, here's the thing. If these conversations were truly a couple hours in, like a day in, a couple minutes long, like, that's worse. Like, that's literally so much worse. That to me says that you were immediately sexual with people that you knew nothing about. That's worse. Like, that's literally awful. That's horrible. The things I saw of what you were saying to people, the kind of conversations that were taking place, the kind of pictures you were sending people, if these conversations were only like 5-minute conversations, that's horrible. Like, that's genuinely terrifying. That you start a conversation and immediately you're sexual with people, that's wrong. That's not okay. Like, how does he not see what he's saying is so stupid?
I'm also going to be honest and say that there's several situations that I don't have any sort of receipts for, especially not the conversations that were completely fake, and I really don't want to leave anything on the table. You know, no matter what sort of receipts or screenshots or proof that I include or share online, there's always going to be a group of people that refuse to believe it because the narrative and the drama and the tea is simply more fun and more entertaining. And that really, really sucks. But, you know, I know the person that I am. I know what I've done. I know what I have not done, and I know what I need to work on. And all I can hope is that there will always be people out there who are willing to let other human beings learn and grow from their mistakes.
No, James. I have seen the amount of commentary creators or drama channels that I have seen state, no, I don't want to be talking about this. I don't want to be talking about the crimes that James Charles has committed. These are crimes. You have committed crimes. At the very least, inappropriate and predatory behavior. Nobody wants to be talking about this. I am pretty sure I said at the beginning of this video that I'm very open to people growing and changing and learning from their mistakes, but I think that when you literally aren't even admitting to things, like the language that he's used throughout this entire video is so, like, the situation, that's what he's saying. And so to people who didn't keep up with this, who didn't actually look into this, they don't know. They don't know. All they know is that James is saying, oh, I've grown and I've grown and I hope people won't let me not have changed, even though 2 fucking years ago I was in this situation and I told people I would change, and then a fucking year later I was in a similar situation and I again told people that I would change, and now I'm in this situation for the 3rd time and I'm hoping that people will believe that I've changed. It doesn't make sense. It's not, like, this is not okay, James. None of this is okay, and it's so concerning that this has more likes than dislikes. It's so concerning.
Would help, but I'm also going to be honest and say that there's several situations that I don't have any sort of receipts for, especially not the conversations that were completely fake, and I really don't want to leave anything on the table. You know, no matter what sort of receipts or screenshots or proof that I include or share online, there's always going to be a group of people that refuse to believe it because the narrative and the drama and the tea is simply more fun and more entertaining, and that really, really sucks. But, you know, I know the person that I am. I know what I've done. I know what I have not done, and I know what I need to work on, and all I can hope is that there will always be people out there who are willing to let other human beings learn and grow from their mistakes, and I just really look forward to hopefully showing that in the future. You know, speaking of learning and growing, the last thing that I just want to briefly discuss before we move on to a more lighthearted subject is I would love to just take a few minutes of your guys' time and talk a little bit about the progress that I made and the conclusions that I have come to over the past couple of months, because I promised that I would do that in my last video, and I feel like I owe it to you guys. Whenever anybody apologizes, personally, I always think it's really important to not only apologize, but also to be able to explain that you understand how what you did was wrong and why it affected somebody and how you're not going to do it again in the future. So when I uploaded my last video, I talked a lot about how I was desperate and coming to terms with that. And looking back now, that was not the right word to use. It became quite a meme and a trend online, and I totally understand why. That was not supposed to be an excuse for anything that happened at all. I was simply trying to explain to you guys that I finally understood why I kept getting into this position over and over and over again, and how it was my own fault and nobody else's. I really was convinced that I was able to live this, like, Hannah Montana double life fantasy where I could be James Charles, the internet persona beauty guru during the day, but then later on I could wipe my makeup off, get in normal clothes, and talk to people on Instagram DMs or on a dating app or even hang out with somebody and have them see me as James Dickinson. And looking back now, I am so angry with myself that I was ever this delusional to think that it was possible. It's a lovely thought and a lovely idea, but the reality is they're the same person. And until I gave somebody the opportunity and the time to get to know me and my heart and my soul, they were always going to see me as James Charles because that's what I put out there on my platform to millions and millions of people, and I just wasn't understanding this, but now I finally do. In my last video, I mentioned that moving forward, I was going to be asking every single person that I spoke to for IDs to make sure that this never ever happened again.
Last year, I'm pretty sure, you said that you were going to be asking the ages of people before you started talking to them. And now you're in this situation again. You said that shit last year. You said that shit last year. The fact that he is making this like some... I just didn't know, like, not to let people in that soon. What? I can't. This whole situation, I can't even say anything. I can't even fucking say anything. He doesn't understand what he's done wrong. He hasn't fucking learned or grown. All that he's learned is that he can get in trouble for shit. He hasn't fucking learned. Like, this... I'm gonna go back.
And until I gave somebody the opportunity and the time to get to know me and my heart and my soul, they were always going to see me as James Charles because that's what I put out there on my platform to millions and millions of people, and I just wasn't understanding this, but now I finally do.
What does people seeing you as James Charles have to do with the fact that you messaged minors, people under the age of 18 in a sexual manner? The fact that you are famous has very little to do with it.
Millions of people, and I just wasn't understanding this, but now I finally do. In my last video, I mentioned that moving forward, I was going to be asking every single person that I spoke to for IDs to make sure that this never ever happened again. And that's already something that I've been doing and has been working great, but
That's already something I've been doing. It's been working great. Who the fuck is talking to you? Who the fucking shit is talking to you right now? I want to know that. I want to know who you're talking to romantically right now to where what the fuck does that even mean? The hell does that even mean? Oh my god. At this point, I'm just mad. I just want to fight him.
Now clear to me more than ever that I need to be doing so much more to protect myself and my brand and my privacy and safety, most importantly, as well. And these are all things that I've learned from making mistakes. Everything that I've learned about dating in terms of protecting myself and red flags to look out for has been through experiencing something and not wanting that to happen again. I got called out for flirting with straight guys, so I stopped allowing myself to be a science experiment. I've been on dates before where guys have tried to take pictures of me on the DL, so it's now gotten to a point where a lot of times when somebody comes over, I'll ask them to leave their phone at the front door. I've even been in situations where I had a guy over and I asked him to leave because he made me uncomfortable and he hit me, which was horrifying, but I learned from that and I now never have anybody over without my roommates being home. God forbid anything happens.
I'm baffled. I have to go back again. I keep having to rewatch what he's saying because I can't even process. He's saying he has to do more to protect himself. I very vividly remember at the beginning of this video him saying that he was not going to try to victimize himself. What is that? What is that? You're making this about how people were playing you, taking advantage of you. Like, what the hell do you even think this is? Like, what do you think you did wrong? This is what I'm talking about. Like, he's making it to seem like he's like, oh, well, I just need to protect myself better so that minors can't. What? Like, I'm so confused. I am so confused. Your privacy and safety? Your privacy and safety. How about the privacy and safety of minors? How about that?
I got called out for flirting with straight guys, so I stopped allowing myself to be a science experiment. I've been on dates before where guys have tried to take pictures of me on the DL, so it's now gotten to a point where a lot of times when somebody comes over, I'll ask them to leave their phone at the front door. I've even been in situations where I had a guy over and I asked him to leave because he made me uncomfortable and he hit me, which was...
You didn't get called out for flirting with straight guys. Let's be clear. This is the bi-sister thing that he's talking about. You got called out for using your influence and your power to get straight guys to... or people who were... See, here's the thing. With that whole situation, I think that there was a lot... Okay. I think that there was a lot of homophobia that was shown and exploited through that scenario. I think the whole James is going after straight guys, and James is trying to get straight guys to be gay for him. That wasn't what happened. That was that was, I will admit, a narrative that was pushed. However, what you were called out for was using your influence and power to flirt with straight guys, knowing that they wouldn't be able to say anything to you because you're a celebrity. You got called out for saying inappropriate things about people and knowing that you could get away with it because you're a celebrity. You got called out for that whole thing with Gage was... Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack. I don't remember enough of that scenario to talk about it. But you didn't get called out for flirting with straight guys. You got called out for using your influence to influence bi-curious men into being with you. Let's just make that clear.
Happen again. I got called out for flirting with straight guys, so I stopped allowing myself to be a science experiment. I've been on dates before where guys have tried to take pictures of me on the DL, so it's now gotten to a point where a lot of times when somebody comes over, I'll ask them to leave their phone at the front door.
If I ever went on a date with someone and they told me to leave my phone at the front door, that I couldn't have my phone with me, I would fucking leave. That's so sketchy. I'm sorry.
I've even been in situations where I had a guy over and I asked him to leave because he made me uncomfortable and he hit me, which was horrifying. But I learned from that and I now never have anybody over without my roommates being home. God forbid anything happens.
Okay. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry that you got hit by somebody. That does not deserve to happen to anybody. But I think that the fact that he's bringing this up in a scenario where, like, I just think the fact that he's bringing this up right now is manipulative. Does that make me a bad person for assuming that he's manipulative for this? I don't know. Like, what does that have to do with this, though? Do you know what I mean? Like, what does that have to do with you being a predator? Like, fuck. Like, this is not... What do you think you got called out for? Like, I don't understand what any of this has to do with the fact that you're a predator. Like, I'm so confused.
I'm not bringing any of that up to ask for sympathy or act like woe is me. Once again, I recognize that these type of things can happen when you have a platform. It's up to me to protect myself and make sure that I am not allowing myself to be so easily accessible to let those people in the first place.
Not allowing yourself to be so easily accessible. What does that mean? I'm so confused. I'm just getting angry at this point. You're a predator, James. It's not about you being easily accessible. It's about you making yourself accessible to minors. Like, this doesn't make any sense. None of this... This is my James Charles impression, right now. Guys, I'm really trying to, like, not be a predator anymore. I really hope that you guys will, like, you know, give me time as I learn and grow and learn how to not be fucking predatory. That's what you sound like right now.
But I'm simply bringing it up to say that it's really complicated, and these are all things that I've learned over time, and I'm still learning and will forever be learning to be the best version of myself or the best potential boyfriend in the future. Speaking of the future, I really don't know what that is going to look like. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be so much more careful moving forward with every single person that I talk to or interact with, but that doesn't mean that I still don't want to find my right person just like everybody else. I just don't exactly know how to go about that yet, but I'm going to figure it out as I go. You know, one of the really interesting things to me was when this was all happening, a lot of people were saying, like, he shouldn't be DMing people, he needs to be on this app, or he shouldn't be on this app, he needs to do this, he needs to do this. I've been on Tinder and Hinge, but I've had people either lie or take screenshots, and my account is currently banned on both of those apps for catfishing as myself. I had a Raya account, which is like the celebrity dating app, but even conversations from there got leaked a couple of weeks ago, and they declined my request to rejoin. There have been so many people too saying, he just needs to give up and date a celebrity. You guys, trust me when I say I would literally love nothing more. Oh my god, if that option were on the table, trust me, it would have been taken a long time ago. The idea of dating somebody that's in LA, that has a busy but flexible schedule, that understands my life, that has money so that I don't have to pay for everything, that I can film videos with or walk red carpets with, like, hello, that is literally a dream come true. Oh my god. The problem is the list of 20 to 25-year-old queer men that are also in the public eye with a large following is just really, really small. And I'm friends with almost everybody that is on that list. So it's really just not an option. You know, I don't know who my perfect person is going to be or how I'm going to go about meeting them. I do know that I'm going to be way more careful and way more patient moving forward, but I still want to be able to talk to new people, meet new people, and have experiences just like every human being does, and find love like every human being deserves. And of course, when that happens one day, I would love, love, love to share that with you guys, but until that happens, unfortunately, no matter how careful I am, I'm most likely still going to run into people that will always value likes or making a video over somebody's privacy and feelings, and that sucks. All I can do is just learn from that situation and figure out how to better protect myself and be more careful moving forward, and that I promise is exactly what I'm going to be doing. I know that this has been a really, really long conversation and portion of the video, so if you made it all the way through to this point, I just want to say thank you for listening and hearing everything that I had to say. It really does mean a lot. Like I said, it would be really stupid to try to come back to social media and pretend like nothing ever happened, so as embarrassing as...
No. James Charles does not understand what he did wrong. You cannot convince me otherwise. The fact that he right now just went on this whole rant about how it's so hard for him to find love and people will take advantage of him. That's not what this is about, James. You're not getting called out for having been taken advantage of. Like, what the fuck do you think happened? What the fuck, James? This is infuriating. You did not get called out because people were releasing screenshots of you guys talking. You were getting called out because you were talking sexually with minors, and that's fucking predatory. Like, I cannot fathom the idea that this man thinks that everything is fucking okay now. You did not get called out for, like, what? He's talking about how, like, dating is so hard and he's been taken advantage of and people will always value clicks and likes over my privacy. Girl! Sis! Sister! 1-to-1, sister to sister. What the fuck? What the fuck? I can't not laugh. Like, this is insane. Why is he talking about this like he just... What do you think happened? What do you think happened? Oh my god. I have to finish this before I lose my mind. You are victimizing yourself, James. You're victimizing yourself so fucking hard right now. James. This is my 13th reason. TBFH. Okay, so he now is done with his, whatever the fuck that was. I am disgusted, enraged, shocked, baffled. This is ridiculous. This is seriously not okay. And the fact that he's been posting, like, he has just been posting, like, everything is fucking fine. James Charles does not understand what he did wrong. He does not understand why he got called out. He's pretending to. Everything that he said in that video shows me very clearly that he has no fucking clue what he did wrong, and he does not care. All he cares about is the fact that his business was hurt. You cannot convince me otherwise. It's just... There are no words to explain this situation. He doesn't understand what he did wrong. He victimizes himself throughout this entire video. He talks about how people are always going to take advantage of him and people always care about clout more than his privacy. He is upset. He continually brings up how embarrassed he is. He's not sorry. He's not remorseful, and he does not understand why what he did was wrong. This is horrible. I really don't know what other words to use. I don't have much more to say. I don't even know how to end this. I'm upset right now. How are you gonna pretend like you were taken advantage of somehow? And that's why you have to make this video. Like, what? Alright, I'm done because there truly is nothing else I can say. I think I'm gonna go sit in a dark room and cry for a little bit. Wow. Wow. Okay. Thank you for watching my first video. I hope you come back. People always end videos with like and subscribe and whatever, but like, I don't know, if you want to do that, I know that you're gonna do that, so I'm just gonna see myself out now. This has been a video. Thank you.